Hi students, welcome to Bosco Campus Vision, Campus TV channel of Kottayam Don Bosco College. So today I am here with the second lecture of Communicative Applications in English, which is the open course offered by BA English Language and Literature. Students from other streams except BA English can opt this paper as their open course. So I would like to remind you one thing. At the end of this lecture, there is a question as provided. Please write down the answers of the question and send me back through WhatsApp. Then only you will get the attendance. Okay, shall we begin today's class? Students, in the last class we discussed about listening and the process of listening. So listening, as International Listening Association defines, it is the active process of receiving, constructing meaning from it and responding through verbal or non-verbal message. That is listening. And it is a complex process. Various steps are included in the process of listening, like hearing, understanding, recognizing, evaluating. So all these steps are included in the process of listening. So today let's begin our class by discussing what is effective listening or active listening. So from the very name itself, that is, we get the meaning of it, effective or active listening. So for active listening, a complete involvement from the part of listener is needed. So that is active or good listening or active listening. So when you listen very actively to certain messages, you can easily get the knowledge from the message, and it also enhances, it also increases your critical thinking level. Okay, so then while you are listening to a message, you can easily get the words, what you are actually listening to, the words, the phrases, what kind of coinages they are using. So all these things are you are closely watching or closely listening. So in addition to listening the message, you must watch the body language or the posture of the speaker. Okay, this will enhance your listening skill. Okay, this will enhance the gaining of knowledge. And there is a concept in listening like empathetic listening. This empathetic listening suggests, so at the time of listening, the listener is trying to understand other person's experience. For example, when a teacher is teaching in the class, you are the listeners and you are listening to the teacher, and the listeners are trying to understand the experience of the speaker. That means you are trying to listen to the experience. You are trying to empathize your teacher's experiences. Such kind of listening is known as empathetic listening. Okay, so dear students, out of the 4 language skill, listening is the basic skill. It is very important for the development of a language. Okay, so now let's check different advantages of listening. Listening, as I told you, is one of the important skills of a language, and good listeners are good performers. Okay, suppose you are listening a lecture in your class. What will you get from a lecture? Definitely knowledge. So first advantage of listening is, from listening you will get knowledge. Listening increases your knowledge. Second one, when you trying to listen to something, you are also trying to relate it with your previous knowledge. Through that way, they develop a critical thinking skill. So second advantage of listening is, listening increases or listening develop your critical thinking skill. Okay, third one is, when you listen to something, you are unknowingly listen to the words, phrases and coinages used by the speaker. Okay, so listening give you new vocabulary. Okay, listening give you new vocabulary, new coinages, new expressions, etc. So listening increases your vocabulary, expression, coinages, etc. Next advantage is, it prevent miscommunication. Okay, if you are a good listener, it prevent miscommunication. Sometimes we often see that when the teacher is teaching in the class, or when the teacher is asking a question to the students ask her to repeat it. Okay, to repeat it. So in such In such condition, the student is not listening properly. So the next advantage of listening is listening prevent miscommunication. And listening also help you to solve your problems in your personal as well as your professional life. Finally, listening helps in sharing your feelings, thoughts and also emotions. So all these are the different advantages of listening. Now let's check what are the different steps to be followed in the process of effective listening. Okay, 5 major steps you have to follow for effective listening. First one is maintaining eye contact. Second one is summarizing. Third one is note taking. Fourth one is connecting or linking. And the last one is ask and answer. Okay, first one is maintaining good eye contact. So at the time of listening, you are not only listen to the content, the audio content that is receiving, but you have to listen the speaker who is speaking, her body language, her gestures, her postures, etc. Because only 90% of the message is conveyed through oral form. The rest of the 10% of the message is conveyed through the physical appearance, the body language of the speaker. So keep a good eye contact with your speaker. Second one is try to summarize the content you are receiving at the time of listening. Okay. Third one is try to make notes from the content. Try to make note from the content or from the knowledge. So at the time of listening, if you are ready to write down the major notes from the from the content that the teacher is delivering, it is very beneficial for you. It will enhance your effective listening. Fourth one is connecting or linking. So at the unique intervals and unique time intervals, try to connect or link the knowledge that the teacher is giving to you with your previous knowledge. Try to relate your knowledge with your previous knowledge. That is about the fourth stage, that is connecting or linking. And the last stage is ask and answer. Okay. Either you can ask question to the speaker or you can ask question to yourself. Ask question and answer yourself. So this will help you to reinstate the message in your mind that you got from the class. So these are the 5 different steps to be followed in the process of effective listening. Okay, dear students, let's move to the next topic. Next topic is Karis Model. So for the purpose of listening, we are following a model, and that is one of the popular models, and that model is Karis Model. So Karis Model in Karis Model, C stands for concentrate, A stands for acknowledge, R stands for research, E stands for exercise control, S stands for sense of the non-verbal messages, and last S stands for structure. Okay, so let's check what is Karis Model. First one is C. C stands for concentrate. At the time of listening, you please concentrate to the content. Okay, so to the matter, that is concentrate. Second one is acknowledge. Acknowledge yourself. Third one is R, research. Try to research the portions or the content that is delivering from the speaker, that is research. Next is E, exercise control. Definitely your emotions will influence the listening process. So try to exercise control. Next letter is S. S stands for sense of the non-verbal message. Okay, in the process of listening, you are not only listening to the audio, but also listening to the speaker as a whole. So you should definitely have a sense of non-verbal messages, non-verbal signs from the speaker. That is, S stands for sense of the non-verbal messages. And the last S stands for structure. So after getting this much information, try to structure it. Then you will get a correct format. Now let's check what is poor listening and what are the different instances where poor listening happens. Okay, So up to this time what we have discussed is good listening or effective listening. Poor listening occurs when there is no involvement from the part of the listener in the process of communication. So in such an instant, poor listening happens. It occurs mainly when there is an inappropriate level of eye contact for the listener and with the listener and the speaker. So listener's inappropriate eye contact level may affect poor listening. Second instance is when we are trying to interrupt the speaker. Okay, suppose the teacher is teaching and we are trying to interrupt her. Okay, before she is stopping, we are trying to interrupt her. So in such an instance also, there is poor listening occurs. And the third one is we communicate the speaker unnecessarily during the class. Okay, we communicate the speaker unnecessarily during the class. Suppose when a teacher is teaching, we are trying to make unnecessary questions to her. Okay, in such an instance also, what happens is poor listening. So, don't try to interrupt the speaker at the time of speaking. This will affect your listening skill. And in some instances, students try to ask her question before she is finishing something. Okay, in the communication process also, it is seen that before finishing the speaker, we try to interrupt. So that will also leads to poor listening. So all these are the different instances where poor listening happens. Okay students, here I am concluding. I hope you understood the different topics discussed today. Here you have a homework question. What is Karis model? Explain. Okay, try to answer this question and send me back through WhatsApp. Then only you will get attendance. See you in the next class. Thank you.